Welcome to Truth and Transcendence. You can find all our other episodes on truthandtranscendence.com, and you can find my other work on beingspace.world. Today I want to talk about the belief that things cannot change. I've observed in myself and in other people that we have a kind of conditional relationship to the idea that things can change. So if I said to you, do you believe that things can change? You would probably say yes. But if we carried on talking, we would probably discover certain aspects of life that you believe cannot change. And if you were asking me the questions, we would probably find within me certain areas where I believe something cannot change. So if we take the hypothesis that absolutely everything can change, everything can change. I heard recently, I was listening to Gaia TV, and they were talking about this idea, and I don't know if this has actually happened or not, but there's an idea that some archaeologists have and astronomers have, that there used to be another planet in the Earth solar system, and that this planet suffered, that it was a large watery planet like Earth, and that something happened and it was destroyed, and that it is now an asteroid belt. But there's an asteroid belt which used to be a planet, and there's also this idea that when it was destroyed, possibly part of it flew off and entered the Earth's atmosphere and caused the deluge, or I think they call it the Younger Dryas period, otherwise known as the Great Flood, which flooded various parts of the planet that were previously not underwater. So whether those things are true or not, the fact is that, strictly speaking, that's plausible. It's a plausible story that something like that could have happened. I'm sure some planets are destroyed sometimes. Stars go supernova. I saw an incredible photograph on Facebook the other day that somehow they'd taken a photograph of a star going supernova. An incredible image. I have no idea how they did it. Those are cosmic things that can change and that do change. We're in a situation at the moment where the climate is changing on the planet. It is happening. And they say, looking back over history, climate has changed numerous times over the past. But we get as we potter along through life, we get used to things being a certain way. And if someone had said to you at some point, well, can the climate change where you live? No. And the only reason that we can believe that the climate can change is either if we notice a difference as we go through life. So I'm in my 60s now, so I've got decades of memories, and I can remember the weather systems being different when I was a child. I can remember in the winter, pretty much every winter, it would snow and the land would be covered in snow for weeks, if not months, every year. That's my memory. Whereas now, that's very rare. So I can notice, and I think the summers are hotter now where I live than they were. So I can feel and experience directly that the climate has been changing. And also we get people who look into these things and are professionals in these areas, who come up with statistics and images and analyses and things, who can give us a sort of rational explanation and rational justification. So we can then say, oh yes, climate can change. So we say, yes, that can happen. And there was a time when body shape, people didn't believe that body shape could be changed. And that you just were the shape you were, that you couldn't do anything about it. Now, if someone said to you now, oh no, body shape can't be changed, you would say to that person, which century are you living in? If you want to change the shape of your body, all you have to do is go down to the gym. You might need to get a coach. You might need to get a nutritionist as well. You may even need to get a life coach to help you relax a bit, to help you do what you need to do to change the shape of your body. But we know that we can do that now. We know that we can do it. And one of the reasons we can do it is because we no longer believe that we can't in general. Now, that doesn't stop us as individuals sometimes reaching points in our lives where, for example, we believe we cannot change our body shape. I myself have had moments when I've been overweight and I've been of the belief that I cannot change my body shape. In order to bring myself to a place where I could do that, I had to let go of that belief. I had to stop believing it. Oh, you can't just decide to do that just off the bat. You just can't do it. But what you can do is you can notice that you have a belief and recognize and remember that beliefs are strong. The way our mind is designed is that if we have a belief, then we will actually, mostly subconsciously, look out for evidence that confirms that belief. Why? Because we tend to tie up our identities with our beliefs. So therefore, we want to prove our beliefs accurate and reinforce our sense of identity. That's a natural process for us. And it's just programmed in. It's not something we decide to do. Some people decide to do it, but generally it's something we do automatically. So if I believe I cannot change my body shape, and if I haven't examined that belief or noticed I have that belief, I will look for evidence for it. And I will look for proof of it. And I will look for statistics that say women of a certain age cannot change their body shape, etc. Or it's unhealthy to try to do that and things like that. And I will reinforce that limiting belief. This comes up in relationships as well. And this is a very interesting one because I think we all know that it's possible in a romantic, loving relationship, if you hit problems, you can actually get help with that. And you can potentially transform it and have a rebirth in the relationship if both people want to do that. I mean, that is a caveat. Most things that we want to change in our lives, we won't change them unless we want to, unless we're prepared to do the work to change them. So the relationships one is another example. Whereas when I was a child, psychoanalysis certainly already existed. So there was an awareness that you could actually go and get some help to assist you with whatever your mental or psychological challenges may be, or with your relationships and so on. But at the time, it was very, very expensive. Most people couldn't afford it. And it was entirely focused on mental illness, imbalance, problems, breakdowns. Whereas now things have evolved, and now you can go and get support and help with anything you like without having to be ill, without having to be unwell, without having to be in crisis. And I think most of us know that now, certainly in the Western world, in the developed world, most of us know that now. So our relationship with what can and can't change does alter from generation to generation. It does alter according to how much personal growth work we've done, how much self-examination we've done, how much learning we've done, how much spiritual expansion we've been involved with, does actually shift our beliefs of what can and cannot change. And I would like to suggest that if we can reach towards a place where we believe that everything can change, everything, absolutely everything, and that if we find ourselves behaving or thinking as if that's not true, recognizing that we may have a belief that may be getting in our way and possibly pausing and examining that belief. Because that belief is a trap. It is suppressing us, it is restricting us. And it may be damaging our lives, and it may be damaging our relationships. So I feel like this is a lifelong topic. It's certainly one I haven't absolutely mastered. I still have beliefs about things that can't change. And some of those beliefs I'm not even aware of. In fact, I'm probably most of them, because when I'm aware of one of those beliefs, it tends to shift and change and transform. So, beliefs that things cannot change, or that everything can except this, or everything can change except you, or everything can change except this part of me, or everything can change except this part of my life. So question it and see what comes up. Now, you may find, I just feel like necessary to put this little health and safety point in here. When you explore this, you may get upset, because you might discover that there are things which could have changed years ago, which didn't, because you had a belief that they couldn't. And you may potentially then get cross with yourself or feel guilty about that or upset about that. And if that happens, then I invite you to do what someone on Instagram the other day was talking about doing, which was forgive the person who did that. Forgive that person, the past you, forgive them, give them a bit of love, and move forward and be different. Choose to be different. So forgiveness and love to the past you, and moving forward, choosing to be different, choosing to be more open to the idea and a perspective that even that thing can change. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Check out the other episodes on truthandtranscendence.com, and check out the rest of my work on beingspace.world. Have a fantastic week.